Chess is racist because white always moves first. Therefore, chess ought to be cancelled.
Ew, gross. Get that thing out of here. Get that thing out of my country. Ew, not my type. Ah, that's more like it. Come to me, you beautiful thing. If you're young, you don't know this is a Saturday Night Live sketch from way back called "It's Pat," and the theme song is "A lot of people say, what's that? It's Pat." A lot of people say, who's he or she? A them or a her, a him or her, accept him or her for what a them or a sir, accept him or her for whatever it may be. It's time for androgyny. Here comes Pat. I was on the bus the other day and there were these high school kids and I was like, they look like mutants. What a terrible time to be a kid. If you're gay, people hate you. If you're straight, people hate you. You know, when I was a teenager, we had Nirvana and Pearl Jam. What do they have today? They got Pat. They got Stray Kids, K-pop. I hate woke and I hate MAGA. Sometimes I attack woke, sometimes I attack MAGA. Both of them hate me. But I will say that both MAGA and woke are both stupid and they both lack in creativity. So they do have a lot in common. They're terrible at the arts, they're terrible at comedy, and they're terrible at debates. If woke and MAGA were two people, they would be attacking each other. And woke would be punching MAGA, and MAGA would play the victim, and then MAGA would hit woke, and then woke would play the victim, and then hit MAGA, and on it would go. Both playing the victim card, both hating the other as evil demons, and both doing so in a very boring, stupid way. So did Black Lives Matter and Me Too bring on the reaction that was MAGA, the backlash? Or was Me Too and Black Lives Matter a backlash against, MAGA, far-right, redneck stuff? I don't know. The chicken and the egg, right? Who cares? They both sort of came together at the same time. They both grew at the same time. Polarized. I'll tell you this, though. There was a time when woke did have control, and they showed very little mercy. They were just as obnoxious as MAGA has become. Basically, any group, unfortunately, I believe about humanity, is that any group will become power hungry and drunk with power if they get it. I don't really blame the humans who have power for not wanting to cede it, because power doesn't cede itself. It's just human nature. It's the system. I don't blame other cultures when they come in here trying to get their prayers in schools, because that's just human nature. You're going to want to spread your religion at the whether people like it or not. And that's part of the problem with the far left. They want to pretend that we would all get along and that the melting pot is a great idea. There would be no problems, but you don't realize there are going to be problems. So what is woke? I would define woke as being a moral authority on social issues. Woke is tolerance to the point of exclusion, right? You have to be tolerant of our rights, but you don't have the right to call yourself, say, straight, for example, because straight implies that everybody else is crooked. I can see that, but still, if the problem with tolerance is you have to be tolerant of intolerant people. Way back in the early 2000s, there was this Dr. Laura Schlesinger who Howard Stern really hated, and she called herself an expert on morality, and she was far from being woke. She was very probably right leaning, but just to call yourself an expert on morality is essentially what woke is to me. People who think that they know better than you do what's right and what's wrong. And there's not much that's more insulting than that. Here in Toronto, we have probably the biggest gay-friendly and trans-friendly community in North America. And I knew of this one girl who she was gay, and she was Indian, from India. And so whenever she got, and she was very, very political. So whenever she got in an argument with a guy, she would use the man card, the female card. And whenever she got in a conversation with a straight person, she would use the gay card. And whenever she was in a conversation with a white person, she would use the race card. So she won every argument. She was like a triple threat. You can't argue with her. And I have to repeat, a friend of mine said to me back then, how much longer are they going to get away with this? And I said to them immediately, I go, 10 years. And guess what happened 10 years later? MAGA. And so I was utterly correct. So the woke movement hit its peak when this dumb actress named Amber Heard got Johnny Depp, got his whole life, his whole career canceled based on just comment like, oh, he did this, right? It was Believe All Women. And Marilyn Manson, even though I hate him, he got his career ruined by another girl that was lying, apparently. And then who was the third one? Oh, yeah, then now Justin Baldoni, that Blake Lively tried to ruin his life. It's not working so well. It's less and less, what's the word? There's diminishing returns on this whole Believe All Women thing as more and more women use it as a wild card. And then it's like, well, be careful. You can't use all of these cards or there's going to be none left for when someone actually is SA'd. And the Me Too movement ruined Thanksgiving for me because I had a family member who was going all in on the Me Too thing. And I was arguing that this is going to be problematic because there's going to be people who use it as a wild card. And it got very, well, the person that I was speaking to got very disrespectful. And then I was just like, okay, screw it then. Like, you can't bring this to Thanksgiving. So you see, it becomes a problem. And I said it was going to become a problem. People said it wasn't, but it was a problem. And hilariously enough, the person I was arguing with was a huge Johnny Depp fan. And it's like, well, there you go. How do you like that? Your favorite actor just got canceled because of the crap you were arguing. Another anecdote, there was a girl I was talking to who lived in England during the BLM, Black Lives Matter. And I was talking about how ridiculous the whole thing was. And she was like, oh yeah, my sister goes to the protests, but she just she dresses up. And for her, it's all about like the social element, right? Like she doesn't really care. She just can't wait to show off her new outfit because it was during the COVID. And I remember at the time I said, okay, tell me how much Black Lives Matter in 6 months when the fad has worn off. Let's see if you're out on the street protesting all alone. And of course, especially the white people who were protesting for Black Lives Matter, where are they now? Why are they not protesting anymore? And a black acquaintance of me, I was talking to him and he was saying that white people were coming up to him during Black Lives Matter and saying, I'm not racist, am I? And he's like, well, how do I know? So how am I against MAGA if I'm so against woke? Well, first of all, MAGA's being unrealistic. Like, that's nice. I'd like to only have hot blonde chicks in my country, but that's not going to happen. It's not realistic. There's already a lot of people in my country that are not hot blonde chicks. And I'm not the only person on the planet, so I can't just decide. Secondly, I can't get over how stupid and ridiculous Donald Trump looks and is, how embarrassing he is. I remember when he came out and he was talking about deporting everybody, I was like, it's not, I agree with a lot of the things he's saying. It's just that he's so stupid. That was always my issue, was just that the biggest problem is that he's such a moron. And also, I disagree with the whole MAGA idea of giving all the money to the rich people. The whole MAGA idea that if you work hard, you're going to get, like, they still believe that crap. I mean, essentially, anybody who thinks that this ridiculous simpleton child, Donald, who was a game show host, who inherited all his money from his daddy, who never worked a day in his life, who's never read a book, who's done all the most atrocious, immoral things. Anybody who thinks that that's a success, who looks up to that, I gotta think you're an idiot and a loser. But pun intended, talking about why MAGA is stupid is a no-brainer. This video is more about woke. 100 years from now, there's going to be so much written on the woke culture moment that we're going through right now. Okay, so racism is real and it needs to be faced. Not so much demonized. It's already a bad thing. We all can agree on that. So you don't need to demonize it further. So I'm fourth generation Torontonian. My great-grandparents all came to Toronto from Italy. And Toronto has been the melting pot of different cultures much longer than United States. And by much longer, I mean maybe 10 years, 20 years. So what happens when you throw 100 different cultures together, put them in a blender? Well, you don't get a nice drink. You get a big mess. My God says your God sucks. Why doesn't that Turkish guy ever say you're welcome after I say thank you? Why does he just say nothing? That's so rude. And then after I talk to him, he tells me, well, we don't have that in our culture. We just don't have you're welcome. And I says to him, oh, I took it personally. I thought you were being rude. And he's like, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. So you get all these people fighting over cultural norms and they just didn't know. So if there's anything that I want anyone to take away from this, aside from the fact that MAGA is nuts and, Donald is a diaper baby, is the word xenophobia, Xeno phobia. It means fear of foreigners. Now, xenophobia is a very real thing. It's not a good thing, but it's a thing. It's kind of like self-defense. It's not a good thing to hit somebody, but when someone's attacking you, you do it. So fear of foreigners is a natural thing. It's how you protect yourself, right? You don't talk to strangers. Now, to illustrate how real it is, look at the word xenophobia. Where does xeno come from? Well, xeno comes from xenios, which is from ancient Greece, okay? It means foreigners. So fear of foreigners goes back 2,000 years to ancient Greece. It goes that far. Zeus of Greece was, Zeus the god was known as Zeus Xenios. That was another one of his names, Xenios, god of hospitality. Basically, in ancient Greece, if somebody knocked on your door and said, I need somewhere to stay for the night, you were supposed to show them hospitality and let them in, even though they're a foreigner. And if you didn't, it might be Zeus in disguise trying to test you. And, he's going to punish you if you don't let them in and give them a meal. And you weren't allowed to ask them their name until after you served them a meal. And they were supposed to give you a gift afterwards. There was all these customs to it. But see, this acknowledged what hospitality was, and it acknowledged xenophobia. So in the same way, we have to acknowledge that people they do fear foreigners. And not that it's okay, but it is something that's real. And you can't just say, oh, well, if you're afraid of foreigners, that means you're an istophobe and you're bad. Then that's just a conversation ender. So fear of foreigners is bad but real, needs to be accepted and understood. And woke is bad, and it's okay to not be gay. You don't have to be gay.